If this is a dream, don't wake me up. Barcelona just beat Real Madrid again. 4 Clásicos, 4 wins, and now La Liga is over. This wasn't just a win, this was a statement for the future. A 7-goal thriller 4-3 victory for Barcelona in Montjuic, goals from everywhere, a wonder goal again from Lamine Yamal. The kid just doesn't like not being in the spotlight, you know? He loves it. He loves being the hero of the story. 2 goals from Raphinha, who's now shouting Ballon d'Or for the Brazilian. And now we're just 2 points away from winning the title. And let me tell you, no one is catching us. I've watched this team rise from the ashes since Valverde, Koeman era, rebuild with Xavi, and now explode under Hansi Flick. And let me tell you, this team is different. And you know what's the best part about it? The whole world sees it. In this video, we'll see how Barcelona completely dominated Real Madrid in this El Clásico, how Raphinha is having a career-defining moment, and basically the genius behind Hansi Flick tactical masterclass that makes this possible every single time, and how he actually made some improvements from the Inter game. Because if this is what Barcelona is looking now, we are looking at a proper European dynasty for years and years to come. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis here. Welcome back to another video here on the channel. And just like always, my goodness, Barcelona impressed. They give us the best football. I think that's not an understatement. I think Barcelona are not only the team that gives you the most entertaining football right now, but also the team that delivers on that football, you know, on that statement. They make every single game basically a must watch. I see people already saying that Barcelona should have gone through to the final of the UCL, because if not the final, it's gonna be underwhelming. Just like we always do, we need to start by talking about basically the context of the game. I think this Clásico was just massive. You know what's massive? Because it would get Barcelona closer to winning the title. I think that's just a given. It was massive because Real Madrid wanted to prove something. They wanted to come back. They wanted to show off that, well, they're still a very big team. You know, that they were humiliated in the Copa del Rey to a certain extent. Although, in my opinion, they really weren't, because they played the best football perhaps against us in that match. And they wanted to show again also that Ancelotti is a decent manager, and wanted to show that he still has it. He still got it against someone like Hansi Flick, and that Flick doesn't have its number. You know, they didn't want to lose all 4 El Clásicos in the same season. I think that's a massive statement that they needed to avoid. And of course, that didn't happen. Another crucial thing is that Barcelona coming into this game, they needed to bounce back from the Inter defeat. They needed to show the mentality that they still had this mission that they wanted to go on. You know, the whole marketing, PR sort of material that Lamine Yamal has input in social media, that it's not only for the sake of just winning, it's not only for the sake of just talking. We come here, we win, we deliver, we play football. We needed to do all of this stuff and get a good result here at Montjuic, and Barcelona did that. I think this El Clásico cemented exactly that. I think there are certain instances where Barcelona still need to improve 100%. And, you know, for me, I think that no matter the scoreline, the thing that I get from this team is that they have bought into the idea of Hansi Flick. They have bought into the idea of playing this way, and they will not stray away from it. The high press, the fast transitional football, basically the fullbacks acting like wingers, stretching the play so much, the offside trap, all of those key ingredients to what make Barcelona now, which are, let's say, new spices to the recipe of the old tiki-taka DNA that we have, that Flick has improved and added to this team. It has made us more physical. It has made us more evolved with the time. Have made us a little more competitive. And I think that this year, it's exactly that. That's what I wanted to take away from this year. I always said it. For me, Barcelona needed to win La Liga, needed to win La Copa del Rey. We did that. And in the Champions League, go out competitively. And I think the season is over with this game. I kid you not, I think it's over. Of course, we're going to talk about it when we win La Liga, but I think it's over in the sense that I have gotten what I wanted from this team. The defeat at Inter doesn't really pain me, because the way that Barcelona are playing, they're going to win something. They're going to win the Champions League sooner rather than later. And I kid you not, this team is amazing. It really, really is. And they're back to winning ways. They're back to the mentality where it needs to be. It's just so, so amazing what this team is actually capable of. And I really like every single player, how they work their ass off for this side. I'm not talking about every single player. I'm talking about the substitute number 23 in the squad list to the number first in the squad in the team sheet, which is now Lamine Yamal, Raphinha, those sort of players, you know. And that just represents basically the lineup. And for me, this was the perfect occasion. You had a Real Madrid squad that was depleted. We had a depleted squad as well. And I think this was the perfect excuse that either with a depleted squad, with some key players gone, we could come back and we can win this game after a heartbreaking defeat against Inter, but a defeat that ultimately is the way that we play. And defeats like that can happen. It's minor details that don't get you the wins in the UCL. But in La Liga, if you're consistent, you're going to get it. And that's what we got in today's game. So let's take a look at the lineup that Flick selected for this game. They went with Chesney in the goalkeeper position, like always. Eddie Garcia as the right back. He got the goal, and plenty of instances. I really like the movement of Eddie Garcia going forward. I think Eddie Garcia has really surprised me in this right back role, and people have already been starting to say he's sort of the Sergio Roberto of this generation, and I tend to agree with that idea. He can play CDM, he can play center back, he can play right back. I guess the only place we haven't seen him play would be sort of a right winger. Sergio Roberto played that a lot. But basically, I just really like Eddie Garcia, and I think that he fits this team very well because he's similar to Koundé in the way that he's sort of a defensive fullback in the way that he plays, but he has very good understanding of the spaces in front of him because he's very intelligent. And you could clearly see that with the way that he positions himself, the way that he either wins some tackles. He's never left in for... There's never an instance where even against someone like Vinicius, who has such a disparity in pace to Eddie Garcia. You know, Vinicius is so much faster than Eddie Garcia. But Garcia is so calm. Eric is so calm on the ball, and he understands his positioning so well that there's never a moment like in the opposite flank where he's left for granted. There's never a moment where he looks lost and there's empty spaces behind him. You know, he's never get caught outside of his defensive position. He's not like Lucas Vázquez, you know. Talking about Lucas Vázquez, he was horrendous. I've never seen a player be so bad in a game, but needless to say, have such a bad season. I think this is the worst season I've ever seen of an individual player in my lifetime. Maybe this or the second season of Christophe Piatek in Milan. Either one of those two seasons are the worst seasons I've ever seen in my life. But Lucas Vázquez, my goodness, horrible. Needless to say, let's continue. Eddie Garcia, Cubarsí, Íñigo Martínez, Gerard Martin. Then we have Pedri, Frankie de Jong, Lamine Yamal, Dani Olmo, Raphinha, and Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres here, I just want to make a quick mention because there's not much. You already know what I'm going to talk about Ferran Torres, but I just wanted to mention the hat-trick of assist of Ferran Torres. He had a hat-trick of assist. The shark. My goodness. He's not only good scoring goals, but he's good creating them. What? I mean, he had the assist for the first goal against Eddie Garcia. He like barely scrapes it with his head onto Eddie Garcia. That's an assist, fair play. Then he has the assist for the goal of Jamal, I think it is. Yeah, Jamal. He does the 1-2 with Jamal, and then he has the goal for the third one of Raphinha. He's crucial in the first 3 goals of the encounter. I think that's massive. It tells you that Ferran Torres, I think, when he's locked in, my goodness, he's locked in. I think he really is and can be that decisive, that good. So good on Ferran Torres. I really, really like it. You know what? I just realized. Let me read the Real Madrid team. Courtois, Fran Garcia, Asensio, Raúl Asensio, Tchouaméni, Lucas Vázquez, Valverde, Dani Ceballos, Bellingham, Vinicius, Arda Güler, Mbappé. I just realized that Mbappé had a hat-trick. This is like the 4th time somebody scored a hat-trick against us, and we still won the game. Guirassy, Pavlidis, Mbappé, and Mbappé again? I don't know. Maybe and Borja Iglesias. This is the 4th time somebody has scored a hat-trick against us, and we still won. Like, that just tells you we're insane, you know? I don't even remember Mbappe's 3rd goal. What was Mbappe's 3rd goal? I don't remember, dude. I really do not remember Mbappe's 3rd goal. What was it, chat? I don't remember. I remember the penalty goal. I rem I remember the goal by Cubarsí, which was a miscontrol. That's the first goal. But the third goal, I don't remember Mbappe's third goal. I don't. Let me look it up. Oh, this goal was Mbappe's third goal. I didn't. I honestly, I like literally shut off at that point in that game. But that's the thing. That's the only negative thing about the Barcelona. You can never shut off in any of these games. Barcelona will never ever let you shut off in these games. That's the only negative thing about them. And I guess that's good because they keep you watching until the last minute. I guess TV really likes it, and the TV communication media stations, they all love this because they keep you watching to the 90th minute because the highlight is so ridiculous, so insane that it doesn't matter. You're always gonna be hooked to your TV screen because anything can happen, you know. And Real Madrid almost equalized the game twice in the final minutes. You know, we had the offside chance twice, two offside chances, one of Mbappe, two of Mbappe actually, one of the corner from Tchouaméni to Mbappe, and then one before that corner, and then we had a save from Chesney, you know, on Mbappe. So those two chances, and I mean, you had we could have killed it with the goal in Ferran, and we could have killed it with the handball on Tchouaméni, which was a handball in my opinion. I mean, for me, that's a super mega handball. And there are so many controversies we have to talk about in this game. That handball, oh my God, that's disgusting. That handball was such a handball. It's ridiculous. I guess the referee is just like saying, oh, it's too close. It's too close to the hand. But I want to pull up the image because it's ridiculous how much of a handball that is. Where can I find it? I need it now. Look at this. That's disgusting, dude. That's such a handball, dude. That's so biased. That's a handball. That's a handball. Anyway, Barcelona started this game, I think, completely lost. I think they always look like this in these last few games. I don't know what's wrong with them in this. I haven't really been able to pinpoint it down. If you can, please let me know in the comment box down below. Let me know what's your input on this because I really do not know why Barcelona always concede very early. We did it against Inter like twice. We did it again here. We always really struggle when it comes to this. It's always like it takes us a little bit of time to get our offside trap working. You know, it's like it's missing a little bit of oil. It's leaking. It's always like that in the first few minutes. And here it was like that under how many minutes? I mean, let me look back again at the facts, but it's under 15 minutes, we already conceded 2 goals, which is ridiculous. You know, like that's something we still need to improve because I like the comebacks. I like la remontadas. I like the ability of this team. I really like it all, but let's be really honest, guys. You know, te soy honesto. That's something that someday is not going to give. Someday it's not going to give. Someday Lamine Yamal is going to get injured. Someday Raphinha is just simply not going to put it back on the net. Someday you're going to get something like Sommer, who's going to be an immovable wall, unbreakable wall, an unbreakable, unmovable object who's just insane. And he's going to stop it all like we had against Inter, and sometimes he's not going to cut it. So I think we definitely have to improve in that area of the game. Like we cannot allow once again for early goals to be considered like this. I think the problem before in seasons prior was that we couldn't come back, you know, but now we have the guns, we have the tools, we have the mentality, and I think that's good. It's fine. I really do appreciate that, and it fills me with its joy because it makes the game so entertaining. And it really shifts the tide of the momentum of the game massively and drastically. But let's be honest, it's really not what you want as a manager. Hansi Flick is not... When Hansi Flick writes this down, or when you ask him how the game wants to go, he's never going to say, I want to be 2-0 down under 15 minutes. That makes no sense. I think Real Madrid slowly but surely throughout the entirety of the season had been getting better at nullifying our offside traps. I mean, in the first game of the season, I remember they had like 17 times they were caught offside. 17 times. In this game, they only were offside, if I'm not wrong, if I can check it, they were only offside a total of 5 times. It tells you, and in the Supercopa, they were caught offside only once. So it tells you that they're improving a lot more in those opportunities. And if we take into account this, they're getting better at clinching the ball faster and sooner, so that they're able to find Mbappe, they're able to find the runs of Vinicius Jr. before we create that offside, which of course is painful for us. But I think that the style of them has gotten a little bit more passively when they come to play against us, and we've played a lot more aggressively of late, and that actually benefits us and benefits them as well, and makes the game a little bit more even. But it's just the way that it is, is that there's nothing we really can control about that, because I don't think Barcelona are going to change their way of playing, and Real Madrid are just taking advantage of that. So that's basically how the game has transitioned and has improved. What I do like about how Barcelona has improved and taken a little bit of a commitment, let's say Flick has just basically fixed some and tuned some stuff from the game against Inter, was that after the first half, where we had already put ourselves 4-2 up, in the second half, he started the press, but a little bit deeper. Frankie de Jong wasn't moving and roaming as much as he did further up. It was Pedri a little bit doing that role, but Frankie de Jong was kind of dropping into those pockets into between the center backs, forming kind of a line of three. Most instances, we form normally this line of two, and our center backs had to sort of fight it out against any of the on-runners. But now we have De Jong. We've seen plenty of times where De Jong has sort of committed the foul, in the last few seconds. We saw it against Inter with Lautaro Martinez, which wasn't a foul. This time around against Mbappe, which also wasn't a foul. So you're seeing De Jong playing a lot more as a center half when we have the ball in possession. I think that's an incredible little fix that Hansi Flick has done to the team that has actually made us a little bit more solid defensively when we're moving further forward and when we need to be a little more conservative. When we actually have a margin, a scoreline, we can play with the scoreline. If we score so many goals, why don't use that to our advantage? I mean, we're going to get more space in return. And we saw that. We just couldn't get our chances done. It's weird. It's like when we have more space, it's more difficult for us. We take more time to decide. And sometimes it happened with it. I can always remember there's certain strikers, certain players, certain teams, and when you give them more opportunities to score, or the time is bigger for them to take a decision, they're worse. Under pressure, they're much better. They're much clinical. We saw Lamine Yamal miss few chances against Inter. We saw Raphinha do the same against Benfica. This time around, the same, take different decisions. I mean, the Fermin Lopez chance was incredible, but that was when Real Madrid were already sort of all depleted in their own box. So it's very different. When we have space in front of us in the counterattacks, normally we don't really see that. Another thing that Hansi Flick did change quite a lot from the game against Inter, and this is something that I was sort of shouting against Inter, and I always say it. I always say it. And I saw it from the first, I think if you go back to my videos, even before I returned from a break, in the game against Dortmund, I said it. I remember, you need to always try to finish your opportunities. Barcelona, if they play with such a high line like we do now, we need to finish our opportunities to get a corner, to stop a counterattack. That's what we need to do. Shoot from wherever you have the opportunity to do so. Counterattack, do a foul, do something, but do not let the counterattack happen. That's something that always, I don't know who taught me when I was, I think, training as a little kid or something, because that's something that always sticks in my head. Always. And if we look at the difference between corners, if I can find the stats here. So Barcelona had 10 corners to the 2 corners of Real Madrid. 10 corners to 2. And I can remember at one point it was 8 for Barcelona and Real Madrid had 0. Barcelona had 8 corners and Real Madrid had 0. So that tells you that Barcelona, a lot more of the time, were controlling the ball. They were higher up the field on Real Madrid's space, on Real Madrid's half of the pitch, and also they were finishing the chances. That's for me a total domination of football. So the scoreline might be 4-3, but there were instances where Barcelona really were suffocating Real Madrid, and that's what we need to do a lot more of. And I think that next season, with these tunes and the players just getting better into this system, I think we can continue improving. This is going to be one of those where 3 years into the making, we're going to see that improvement. I think so far 1 year on the ropes, it's good. We're seeing amazing stuff from the team. But the more that we play with it, the more that Hansi Flick actually learns the players, learns the traits that they have, the deficiencies that we have with the team, the more better players that we get. Like, if we get somebody like, let's say, we found Eddie Garcia could be like a Koundé. We found that late in the season. If we get somebody like a Balde who could play through the left, maybe not Balde directly or a left back directly. Maybe you can get people. The rumors has it a Frimpong, you know, a right back who could play this sort of role similar to Balde on the right. Then you can get somebody who's similar to Kunde on the left, and you can, you know, change the perspective of the team. There are so many different things you can do with this team, and it's so entertaining. It's so interesting to see how Hansi Flick can evolve this team and make it a lot better. So I just think that with time, this side will get completely revolutionized massively, and I think in the good sense. I think this team will improve a lot with time, and I'm just very, very excited about it. And the last player, of course, that I want to mention and quickly give a shout out to is Lamine Yamal. I'm beyond words for what this kid is achieving really at the sport. For me, he is right now the best player in the world. He is the best player in the world because for me, I mean, he's ranked #1 for biggest chances created in La Liga. That's just insane. Most dribbles in the Champions League, like by a landslide, the same in La Liga. You can go into stats or whatever. He hasn't scored the most goals or whatnot, but he always appears when this team needs him the most. You know, that's like Messi. I'm saying that's exact words I said about Messi. And I'm not trying to compare him about that because he doesn't have the stats, the number, the trajectory, the history. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have the moments yet. He's building that. But just the fact that we are putting him in the trajectory to become possibility of doing something close to that is insane. But then yet again, for me, what I'm liking about it is that he appears in the games, you know, in the games where it matters the most. In every single Clásico this season, he has assisted or scored. And then again, he has appeared always, you know, in the games against Inter, he has appeared with assists, with goals in the most important games against Dortmund in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, against Atletico. He always puts good performances when the team needs it, and he never backs down. You know, he has a hunger for winning with Barcelona, and with this shirt that just makes it that all much more important and that all much more valuable. And to finish, basically, I was just wearing this shirt because it has Artur Melo on the back. It has Artur Melo with the number 8 shirt on the back. These are days that I never want to remember back again. You know, this is the season after Liverpool, I think it is, or the one before. I'm not remember. But I don't care which one it is. I just wanted to say that it's like we've come a long way, a really long way. And I'm very excited with what this team is doing and building right now. So I just wanted to remember where we came from because it's always important to remember that, you know, it's always important. And Barcelona should be so happy and so proud of the team, the player, the manager, the squad, and the fans that they have. You know, we're such a good community, such a good people. I love this. And yeah, we're very close to winning La Liga. We won La Copa del Rey. We won the Supercopa. I think this is a good year. We fight it 100% in the UCL. We're 100% the best team in Europe right now. And nobody can take that away. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a very good ride.